So the Ekurhuleni Council was plagued with several delays yet again yesterday at the resumption of the meeting that collapsed on the 29th of February. Well, the Democratic Alliance walked out following the Speaker's announcement that the Council would first sit for the extraordinary meeting. Council ended abruptly after talks between the ANC and ActionSA regarding the amendment to the no confidence motion. Well, let's get an update on yesterday's proceedings. And for that, we are joined by ActionSA Gauteng chairperson, Funzi Ngobeni. Mr. Ngobeni, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I think let's start with just the real basics here. Why is ActionSA so dead set on the removal of the AIC's Sivuyile Ngodwana?
Yeah, thank you very much, Naledi, and good morning to the viewers. Look, our motion is really inspired by what we have been gathering from the ground, and I want to take this opportunity to congratulate our own caucus in Ekurhuleni. They have been really playing a critical role in terms of accountability there and doing proper oversight on this government. And throughout the time, they've submitted questions in council, they have submitted motions in council, they've been on the ground engaging with communities on various challenges that communities have brought to our attention. And at the end of the day, they resolved that maybe the next move will be to submit a motion of no confidence. Various issues were raised of service delivery that has really come to a halt in various areas. Service providers have not been paid, water crisis that continues to plague many communities in Ekurhuleni, places like Tembisa, they've really been on fire, and other places where we have seen service delivery, protest happening, and this was a step to take to table a motion of no confidence. That's one of those arsenals that we are provided with in the legislation, and we were glad all the parties in council agreed with ActionSA, and they were going to support us in this motion. So it's just disappointing that this process has not happened. But from our side, we are quite confident that the issues that we have raised, to back up these motions, are valid and remain valid. And we think that this motion at some point needs to be tabled and voted in.
Let me ask you this, though. I mean, yesterday outside council, there was massive service delivery protests outside council. So residents of Ekurhuleni demanding water, basic services, electricity. What do you say to the argument that really to address the issues of those people that were outside council demanding service delivery, that continuity in leadership of council is what is necessary?
Yeah, no, look, we agree with you. Continuity is important, and in fact, we don't have any interest in terms of changing or taking into the executive ourselves. What we are saying to this coalition of the ANC and the EFF, and this is what we have been saying consistently, Naledi, that they must choose the best among themselves. We don't have a problem. They have an arrangement, and they've got enough numbers to be able to run these municipalities. All we are asking is that choose the best amongst yourselves that we can be able to hold accountable, that will be able to deliver services to the residents of the municipality. At this moment, and it has happened in Johannesburg as well, where they chose the West among themselves. They had to go back and look for someone else to come and be the mayor later on, after we had raised issues, after communities had raised issues. We are asking them to do what is right for the residents of Ekurhuleni. They must go and sit around the table, look among themselves, all the parties that are in that coalition, look at the best person that can be able to serve the residents of Ekurhuleni, and then bring that person to council so that we can be able to work with that individual. That's all that the residents are asking for. They're asking for service delivery. They don't care about positions. They don't care about who's supposed to be on that chair. They want a competent individual that can deliver.
And again, I raised the issue of those residents that were outside protesting outside council, and again you go back to the sort of negotiations that you're having with political parties inside council. Your own Sianda Makubo of your party said that the protesters outside of council were mobilized by the economic freedom fighters. Do you believe that?
Well, I don't have that confirmation, but if he's got that information, it will be quite interesting. Look, there's been a lot of protest outside Ekurhuleni chambers. There are security guards that have been waiting to be enforced in Ekurhuleni. You'll remember that there's a motion that was passed that was supported by ActionSA in Ekurhuleni to install security guards. What happened immediately after ANC and EFF took power? They decided to award a contract to service providers that continue to exploit those security guards and cleaners in Ekurhuleni. Some of them were there yesterday. I saw some of them that were protesting there. But there were people that were also protesting about water. That were also saying we also need houses as well. The people that were protesting outside, they were also saying there's constant electricity blackouts outside of load shedding. And all these things are not new to us because we have been on the ground, we have been engaging with communities on the ground, and they've been bringing all this to our attention. In council, there was a motion about hijacked buildings that ActionSA tabled in that council. This administration, led by this mayor, have failed to even implement that motion. Nothing is happening in terms of those hijacked buildings in Germiston. There's no oversight. There's absolutely nothing in terms of ensuring that crime levels are reducing in those areas. Okay. So those are issues that residents were raising outside of the chamber yesterday and on the ground as well. And if you look at social media platform, Naledi, you'll actually pick up that all these matters are at the heart of why residents themselves are supporting the ActionSA motion in council to remove it.
I need to step in just in the interest of time, Mr. Ngobeni. Okay, we saw yesterday the Democratic Alliance walking out of council. I mean, that perhaps you'd like to share your thoughts on whether or not that was the right thing for them to do. But what then is the next step for the for ActionSA in pursuing this motion of no confidence against Ngodwana?
Look, council was adjourned yesterday, and the speaker will have to reconvene this council meeting. It has to be done within 7 days so that the program can be concluded. Yes, the DA agreed to walk out of council for their own reason. They believed that that particular council session was illegal, and that's their right to do so. But we stayed on, and although we didn't, obviously there was no reason to participate. It was just a tabling of the AG report, which we noted as well. But yeah, I mean, we'll wait for the speaker to reconvene council, and then this motion will be voted in. And we still believe that all these parties that have committed, in council that they are supporting this motion will continue to do so. What we want to discourage all these parties that are there, that are saying they're supporting our motion, they must not be bringing additional amendments to our motion. I think our motion is quite clear. We want the mayor to be removed. Okay. And then so that they can be a new mayor installed in Ekurhuleni. If they want to add anything, they can bring their own motions. Maybe they want to change the systems of government, or they want dissolutions of council. That should be dealt with differently.
And you're supporting, apologies, I need to move in the interest of time. You also are supporting calls for a motion of no confidence against Speaker Nthabiseng Chibenga. I mean, as you answer that question, perhaps talk to us about who you'd like to see then sitting in those positions.
Yeah, I'm saying the speaker, in yesterday's ruling, she made the right ruling about dismissing the two amendments from the ANC and from the DA. But later on, it seems like she really lost it herself. She started wanting to go and consult with the lawyers and so forth. Look, we don't have a position right now of whether we support the removal of the speaker. It's something that the caucus will discuss. They will engage with us as their leadership. Then we can take it from there. At this point, our focus is on this particular motion. And then once it's completed, we'll be able then to outline other matters going forward. Okay.
Mr. Ngobeni, you yourself are the premier candidate for ActionSA. I mean, what you're learning about what we're seeing in the power battles unfolding in the Council of Ekurhuleni. And certainly, I imagine that you're preparing yourselves for these issues to be matters that you face in provincial legislature as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think as a province, we will have an opportunity to do proper oversight into these municipalities. and to ensure that we intervene impartially where we have to intervene. You know, as the problems that we have, and I think we must not forget as a society that we have a premier, Panyaza Lesufi, who was going from one municipality to another, installing these puppet mayors in all these municipalities, and having to change and bring in more competent persons later on, like in the case of Johannesburg. You know, this is an individual that really did this out of their own interest without really caring about whether what they are doing, the steps that they are taking, is in the interest of service delivery of our residents. We need to be able to say when we get into coalitions that we do that in the interest of our residents. We put the best amongst ourselves up for mayorship. We put the best amongst ourselves up for MMC's positions and so forth. It must not be because we want to find each other and give each other positions when we know that we do not even have skills and qualifications to do so. So it's important that we must be able to do so. And as the government that will be running the province, we will do oversight where the municipalities are failing. We will exercise our constitutional right of intervening, of assisting them, of capacitating them, and ensuring that at the end of the day, service delivery is the one that is delivered to our residents. So that is the premise of what we will do when we take power after May 29th, because it's important that municipalities must be stable. That's where service delivery is. That's the crux of what they must do. And then we must be able to hold them accountable at all times. And we must do that impartially without saying this municipality is run by this party or this municipality is run by that. It must be done within the law and must be done impartially.
All right. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us. We're going to have to leave it there. We really appreciate it. Funzi Ngobeni is, of course, the ActionSA's Gauteng chair.